Have you recently posted a job ad and it's just not getting traction or it's attracting the wrong kind of candidates? I understand. I've been a recruiter for almost 15 years and I have some tips and tricks to help you attract the best and brightest candidates out there. So, in this video, I'm going to share my 7 tips for writing a job ad that gets results. Let's dig in. Hi, everyone. Real quick, my name is Vanessa. I am the owner of R.E.A Staffing. We help real estate agents and teams hire administrative and management level staff all across the US. And on this channel, we focus on fostering careers in real estate and growing real estate teams. And hey, this video is not specific to real estate. So if you found us from any other industry, welcome. Glad you're here. This information will be relevant to all. All right, let's get into it. All right, the first thing to consider when your job ad isn't generating results is the job title. Job titles need to be clear and specific. Do not get creative and don't create a long title. So a copywriting ninja is not as good as a copywriter. Keep it simple. You can also give people a creative title once you've hired them. The next thing to consider is don't oversell the role. If it's an administrative job, don't call it an operations manager job. You'll end up attracting the wrong type of candidate. One way to know if your title is off the mark is if the number of views is much higher than the number of applies. So not everybody who sees your job is going to apply, but if, let's say, it's below about 70%, so 30% of the people who click on the job ad don't actually apply to it, your job title might be sending the wrong message. Another thing you can do to test job titles is to go to trends.google.com. And here you can type in a keyword and see how popular that keyword or combination of keywords is. It's interesting to note that different job titles have different levels of popularity in different parts of the country. So for example, receptionist is a common term in some places where for a similar role that might be called a secretary or it might be called an administrator. So it's helpful to see how popular keywords are in your area, and then you can build your job title from there, or at least the subject line of your job ad. You can still title them anything you want once you've got them on board. My second tip is to consider whether your job ad is too short or too long. It helps to keep in mind who your audience is here. If you are marketing a sales role and you're talking to a salesperson or somebody with a high driver personality, they're just going to want the bullet points. That can be fairly short and sweet as long as you cover all of the different points that we'll talk about in this video. If you're hiring for a more analytical role, a data analyst, a transaction coordinator, then you're going to want to add more detail. They're going to want a lot more substance. But either way, a very, very short job ad or one that is several pages long misses the mark. So keep that in mind. Ideally, the job ad should fit on one piece of paper. At the very shortest, should be half of a page, and that might be pushing it. The next thing to look at is the salary. You guys, you must put a salary range in your job ad. That is one of the best things you can do to get more views and hits on your job ad. Now, you don't have to know the exact salary that you're going to offer. Just putting a range in there is fine. You could put $50,000 to $80,000 a year. It can be a large range. Just put something in there. And if you do have a range in there and you're still not getting a good response, that could clue you in that you aren't paying market rate. If you aren't completely sure that what you're offering is market rate, something you can test is to up your salary range. So let's say you had it at 50 to 60,000, try going 50 to 75,000 and see how much that impacts your response rate. If you're in the real estate industry, we publish a salary guide every year, and I'll include the link below. It's a great little resource to help you figure out what to offer based on where you live in the country. So check that out. Another thing to consider is location and location flexibility. Right now, about 50% of office workers, or at least in real estate, 50% of workers are not working in the office full time, and many of them tell us they have no interest in going back into an office on a full-time basis. But many, I want to say it's about 45%, would like to have a hybrid schedule where they come into the office sometimes and also work from home. So if there's any way that you can make that work in your business, allowing people to come into the office for certain days or for certain events, but then work from home, I recommend that you do it. That also allows you to cast a wider geographic net. So, where you might not want somebody coming into the office and commuting more than 30 minutes a day, if they only had to come into the office one day a week, they could live an hour away and do that commute once a week, right? So that helps you cast a much wider net of candidates, and that can help you attract the right person. Something else to consider is listing too many must-have requirements in your job ad. I think we have a tendency to want to list all the things that we'd like to have and portray them as must-haves. For example, a 4-year degree. Most positions don't really require a 4-year degree. It's something that we would just like somebody to have. HP did a study several years ago that got a lot of traction. They found that women will only apply to a job when, in general, women will only apply for a job when they meet close to 100% of the requirements, whereas men will apply to a job if they feel they meet 60% of the requirements. So the moral of the story is, if it's not actually a hard requirement, don't mention it, or put it under the bonus points if you have XYZ. That way, people won't self-select out. And let's be real, nobody is ever going to meet 100% of your requirements. You're going to be flexible on something. So don't cast out people before you have a chance to make that decision for them. Another mistake that I see is missing company information. Now, if this is a confidential job search, it's understandable that you don't list your company name. However, you still can put information about the company culture and values, mission, vision, goals, what it's like to work there, what the office environment is like. And certainly, if it's not a confidential role, name your company in your job ad and include a link to your company website. Candidates want to know where they're applying. They want to know where their resume is going. And you'll get a much better response and a higher quality of response if you are transparent about who you are and what you're all about. And in fact, we find when we are able to write a job ad that really highlights a company's unique culture and values and what they believe in, we get enthusiastic response from wonderful culture fit candidates. So this is really an opportunity for you to attract the kind of candidate you want to hire. So really dig deep and talk about who you are and why you're a great place to work. Now, several years ago, when we were in a different job market, having candidates complete assignments up front became quite popular. It became a great way to screen out the 500 candidates who applied for the job ad. We're not in that market today, and candidates aren't going to put up with jumping through all of your hoops. So I highly recommend that you remove any pre-apply requirements. So for example, if you want people to write a specific cover letter describing why they want the job, or you want them to take a skill assessment or a behavioral assessment when they're applying to the job, take that out of your process. You can ask them to do all of those things later. Just get them in the door first, and then you can, add those things to your screening process. And that way, you won't discourage quality candidates who are busy and are only applying to the jobs that they're most excited about. You won't dissuade them from applying to your job. So take a little time to use some of these tips and tricks to improve your job ad. And hey, if this makes a difference for you, I would love it if you came back and left a note in the comments to let me know that you found your perfect candidate. And if you're still struggling, or you just don't want to deal with the process of hiring all on your own, reach out. My team and I would love to speak with you and help you navigate the hiring process. My link to our calendar is below. And hey, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help. And if you'd like more content on building a real estate team and thriving in real estate, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thanks, and I will see you on the next video.